Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a proud moment not only for you and me, but a billion compatriots. India has shown the world that it can deliver. Today at 9:47 a.m., India administered the 1 billionth dose of COVID vaccine. The mammoth task was completed in just 278 days. India erupted in joy as soon as the milestone was achieved. The feat is nothing but a triumph of Indian science, enterprise and collective spirit of 130 crore Indians. And the man who led from the front to pay tribute to our country's COVID warriors was none other than Pradhan Sevak. Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi visited the RML hospital in Delhi and interacted with the vaccine beneficiary Arun Rai as well as nurse Christina, who administered the historic jab. Here's a sequence of the candid, uncut conversation of Prime Minister Modi with these COVID warriors.
Namaste ji. क्या शुभ नाम है? पहला डोज है या?
जी मेरा ये पहला डोज है।
अरे इतना देर लगा दिया?
इसलिए कि अभी तक लापरवाह था और मैं ये सोच रहा था कि क्योंकि मैं बनारसी हूँ और बनारस के सारनाथ तो मेरा घर है और वहाँ मैं एक छोटा सा दिव्यांग स्कूल भी है। मैं सोचता था कि मैं योगा करता हूँ, मैं खातिक बनारसी हूँ, ये कुछ नहीं होगा। लेकिन जब 70 करोड़ लोगों ने लगवाया तो मेरे मन में एक जिज्ञासा आई, मुझे भी लगवाना चाहिए, योगा से कुछ नहीं होता।
बनारस के एमपी ने लगवाया तब मन नहीं कर गया?
नहीं कर, मैं जब हमारे साथ आप जैसे प्रधान सेवक से तो अपने आप को भाग्यशाली
सेवा करो, बहादुरी करो। अब तक कितने लोगों का वैक्सीन किया?
सर जब से वैक्सीनेशन शुरू किया था मेरा ड्यूटी आ गया तो लगभग सर
15,000। अरे वाह,
सर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा कि
तो अभी तो कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल भी बहुत आया होगा। चलिए बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको।
It wasn't an easy task, but we fought and overcame hurdles. Prime Minister Modi, after his visit to RML, once again expressed gratitude to all the doctors, nurses and healthcare workers.
देश के पास अब 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का मजबूत सुरक्षा कवच है। ये उपलब्धि भारत की है, भारत के प्रत्येक नागरिक की है। मैं देश की वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनियां, वैक्सीन ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में जुड़े कर्मयोगियां, वैक्सीन लगाने में जुटे हेल्थ सेक्टर के प्रोफेशनल्स, सभी का खुले मन से, हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
And tonight, the brains behind India's COVID fight back are joining me on this special edition of the News Hour. Listen to the story of how India turned the pandemic tide.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Dr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog. Also joining me this evening is Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, Joint Managing Director, Apollo Hospital Groups, and Dr. Naresh Trehan, Chairman and Managing Director of Medanta. What do I say to all of you? Salute, Jai Hind, Namaskar, congratulations, badhai from everybody in this country to all of you. The doctors, the other hat that you wear, the fact that you run hospitals where you have health workers, where you face challenging times, and Mr. Amitabh Kant, who's here, the policy and planning backbone that he represents. First, to the lady on the panel, I want to ask you, Dr. Sangeeta Reddy, how difficult was this entire journey from March 2020 till date on 21st of October 2021? Were there moments where you thought it was all doomed and we wouldn't make it? And then how did you pick up yourself and the apparatus around you which needed to function if India needed to breathe and survive?
So, Navika, good evening, and I'm so happy we're all together at this very special occasion where we have something significant to celebrate. We have powerful leadership in the country, and today's milestone is truly a validation of the fact that together India can achieve. There is no doubt it was difficult, there was so much unknown. We had to put together care protocols, encourage our teams. The world was scared and everything was upside down. But I think we have at Apollo always had the spirit to say the public needs it, people need it, we must find a way. And today I think we can sit back and say on many counts, India, the Prime Minister, our governments, our leaders, the public and private sector, the manufacturers, the scientists, the engineers behind the CoWIN app, the transport, everybody has come together. And also significantly, I think the public have come together. And we've achieved this, but I will say in the same breath that there is no room for complacency. We have more to do. We must continue. Almost 70% of those who have had the vaccination out of this historic 1 billion doses have had their first dose. We need them to come in and take their second dose. In parallel, we must ensure we cover the rest of the country. So it's a great moment. It's a proof to the world that India can do it. We must quickly celebrate and then strengthen our resolve to keep up what we're doing.
Dr. Trehan, the first wave we kind of managed, we sailed through it, but the second wave was the biggest challenge, and we saw death around us in a manner that most of India was losing hope. Every one of us, each one of us had a friend or a family member or somebody who had either suffered, needed a hospital, needed some medicines which weren't there. Death, devastation was all around us. From that time till today, do you think it has been a combination of resolve, policy planning, as well as, of course, the grit and management of our health workers?
Navika, truly, we went through a very, very rough time, especially in the second wave. Because the velocity and the ferocity with which it came got us unprepared, because we thought from the first wave that if we can handle 100,000, of course we will be able to handle 100,000 again or 200,000 again, but it just went beyond anybody's imagination. But then, once that happened, and all the required attendant technologies like the doctors needed, oxygen that patients needed, medicines that were needed to treat them, and the protocols, and then the new challenges that came from Black Fungus, all these put together really put a huge burden on the entire country. But I must say that not for a moment did we experience anybody in the full chain, whether it was the government, whether it was the doctors, whether it was the frontline workers, security people, supply chain, everybody did not hesitate to pitch in fully. And the way we are sitting today, where we are celebrating that 100,000 crore landmark that we have achieved in record time, we need to know that this effort will actually deliver India through this terrible pandemic that has taken such a toll, not only in India, but around the world. So the lessons learned are, one, never believe that there is no danger lurking in the future. We know the identifiable dangers are that we need to vaccinate the rest of the population that has not received a second dose, and the hesitant people who have not taken the vaccine, that we must actually deliver to them the data that we have accumulated so far. It has become very obvious people who have gotten the vaccine shots, even if they are reinfected, even after 2 shots, 3%, 4% have got the infection again, but it was very mild, minor symptoms, no hospitalization, and no deaths. There cannot be a bigger proof on the efficacy of the vaccine. So the unaddressed people are, one, those with hesitancy, and the other is our children. There is no vaccine which is now approved for the market. We are hoping it will happen in the very near future, because the most precious part of our country, that is our children below the age of 18, are still vulnerable. We do not know the variants that are coming down the pike, so we should always be on the alert and try to vaccinate the children as soon as it becomes available ASAP. So the target of completing the second dose for all our citizens who have been vaccinated by the end of this year or early next year is very much achievable. The 100 crore mark has already proven that when everybody works together, whether it was the administration under the leadership of our Prime Minister, who actually day and night pushed for it, the functionaries of the Indian government who did brilliantly. When oxygen was running out, I know the inner track, we know how we were living from hour to hour. That help was coming minute to minute. So I must thank everybody. And also it is proven that when government and private sector work together and the industry works together, and we are inclusive in this way, we can achieve any monumentous task that comes our way. So India has proven its grit. Second thing is, we should not forget this lesson, that it is togetherness that brought us here, and it is togetherness which will make India in the future the leader. Now, the other thing the true realization will come when now we have our biotech companies, our manufacturers of a vaccine have produced enough doses that we can fulfill our services as we go further. But there is hope that by early part of next year, there will be enough vaccine to share with the rest of the world. Because that adage that nobody is safe till everybody is safe still holds true. So the real power of India and its collective strength will come out when we are the providers of the rest of the world of vaccine, which they are right now actually begging for, but is not available right now.
Absolutely. Well said, Dr. Trehan. And let me ask you, Mr. Amitabh Kant. I want to ask you, because you've been at the receiving end. People, citizens, and of course, political parties, and everybody was questioning the government on why it had failed in anticipating, in planning, in strategizing. Also, this whole Herculean task, logistics itself. First, availability, then logistics. Everything was a challenge from the word go, and of course continues with that. When it's India, it's also politics, and the brickbats unendingly keep coming the way of the government. How did it work behind the scenes for you as a policy planner and somebody who had to be providing all the answers to the zillions of questions that people of India had, and of course zillions multiplied by zillions that political parties had? How did you handle that?
So, Navika, let me first put this in a perspective. What does a billion vaccine doses imply? Because not only we've done a billion vaccine doses, we've done double doses to about a population of more than 300 million. And this means that we've covered more than the population of, say, a Brazil, say, a Indonesia, say, a Pakistan. All of them, their population is around the same. We've done a double dose to a population almost equivalent to the United States of America. And at the peak in one day, at the peak of our vaccination campaign, in one day, we did equivalent to the entire population of Australia. Now, such a mammoth exercise could not have been taken and with such missionary zeal without meticulous planning. And I think, to my mind, there were two key factors to this. First was, I would say, the tremendous political and administrative will of the government, driven by the Prime Minister himself, who visited the manufacturing units and motivated the entrepreneurs and the workers in the factories, and then motivated the health workers and everybody down the line till the last mile. Second, I would say a lot of credit would go to the entrepreneurs who produced these vaccines and supplied them at such large quantities. That was phenomenal work by our entrepreneurs and our scientists. And thirdly was the CoWIN app. And CoWIN app has been totally seamless, it's been verifiable, it's been digital. And India is the only country in the world which has enabled this digital certification linked to your Aadhaar, linked to your passport. The other thing which is phenomenal about India is that this vaccination exercise has not allowed any kind of a divide, a digital divide or a vaccination divide between rural and urban India, between the rich and the poor, between one section of the society or another. It's been a universal drive across India. I was in Kashmir just a few days back, and I was amazed at the interior areas of Kashmir fully covered. You go to Bihar, completely fully saturated. I mean, that has been the extent of this exercise. This would not have been possible without the passion, the commitment, the energy of our doctors, of our health workers, and the tremendous work put in by the health ministry. And I would really take this opportunity to salute each one of our health workers and our last mile workers who've done such a unique job, and they make us all proud by what we've achieved today. And to my mind, there's no room for complacency. We should continue to wear our masks. We should continue to ensure that we do double dosage of all our population. And one of the great things that India has done in the midst of all this, we have managed to bridge the global divide. While other countries, the developed world, has hoarded vaccines, India has exported over 100 million vaccines to its neighboring countries. We have taken care of many of our neighbors today, and that should also make us doubly proud.
Absolutely, Amitabh Kant, very rightly said, and I'm happy to welcome Dr. Guleria, who's become the face of the COVID fight back, along with Dr. Trehan and Dr. Sangeeta Reddy. And Dr. Guleria, as the director of AIIMS, we're not surprised that you made it to this show a little late, but we take this opportunity in saluting you and each member of the medical fraternity, each member of the support staff who's worked tirelessly, and the kind of challenges you people have had over the last 1 year and 8 months. It's a long time. I want to ask you, Dr. Guleria, while we celebrate the 100 crore milestone, it's an important milestone. I also want to ask you, what happens next? We are in the middle of the festival season. Many people say, the festival season and the lowering of the guard can result in a possible third wave. What happens to children and their vaccination? What's your advice to them? These questions still top of the mind for citizens at large. How would you respond to these?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to congratulate every citizen of our country for the remarkable achievement of 1 billion doses that we've achieved today. When we talk of 1 billion doses, it's not only the doses, it's the syringes, the needles, 1 billion needles, 1 billion syringes, and everything else that goes with that, the training, the monitoring for side effects. So it's a huge achievement for a country like ours, and many people said that it will take us years to reach this 1 billion mark. And we've done it in 9 months. So it's a huge achievement. Coming to what the future holds, I think we are moving gradually away from the pandemic, but we still have to be very, very vigilant, because we should learn from the lessons from the past. And therefore, two things are very important. One is that during the festive season, we continue to have COVID appropriate behavior. We continue to wear our masks, maintain physical distancing, and avoid crowds. If we are able to do that, along with vaccination, I would still say a lot of people should come forward and get themselves vaccinated. There's still a little bit of hesitancy. I sit and see patients in the OPD. Many of them come and say that I've taken the first dose, and now that there's no COVID, I don't think I should take the second dose. I'd like to really say that you have to take both your doses if you want to be properly protected. So continue our vaccination drive, make sure that we vaccinate everyone, at least a single dose is given to every citizen over the age of 18 by the end of the year, and we continue our COVID appropriate behavior. If we do these two things, I think we will get away without having much of a problem as far as any further wave is concerned. But the most important thing is that we have to continue this drive that we have and not really sit back and say we've crossed 1 billion, so now we can relax. I think we have to continue this energetic drive throughout the year. And then once we have the vaccine, we have two vaccines which are now approved for children, the Zydus Covishield and the Bharat Biotech, and the Zydus Covid and the Bharat Biotech, and that should also help as far as vaccinating children is concerned. In my opinion, when we start vaccinating children, we must prioritize first, and those children who have a higher chance of dying because of COVID-19 or having severe illness because of COVID-19, we should vaccinate them first. Children with comorbidities, children who are on chemotherapy or on drugs which decrease their immunity. Once we achieve that, then we can move on to children who are otherwise healthy, because we know that children usually tend to have a mild disease, but they can sort of transmit the disease to the elders or their parents, and to break the chain of transmission, we have to also start vaccinating children. Once we do that, I think we should be in a safe position as long as the virus doesn't misbehave and really change dramatically.
Well said. And you have that sagacious smile on your face, Dr. Guleria. I want to ask you a very personal question, and I think most of India wants to ask you that. Did you ever lose your cool over the last 1 year and 8 months? I'm sure the pressures were very high, and especially for somebody like you. You know, there are enough VVIPs in every, knocking on every AIIMS doors. How did you handle it? At any point, did you feel like throwing in the towel or just saying it's getting too much?
No, I don't think so. I think I had total confidence in my team and with everyone, all the healthcare workers. None of us really backed out, even when we started with this fight against the pandemic. And we were fighting an unknown virus. There was a lot of fear among our healthcare workers, our residents, our faculty. Many of them were not going home for days because this, and I think it was a team effort, a lot of support from the government also in terms of getting things in place, the COVID centers, the COVID hospitals, the COVID ICUs, ventilators on time, PPEs. So I think there was a team effort of the entire country, which has seen the day that we have today of crossing 1 billion doses and being confident that we are moving away from the pandemic and back to a normal situation.
Dr. Trehan? Did you have any pressures which you felt were just too much given the enormity of the second wave?
You know, the strength came from all around us. The fact that we had been the first people to receive those 14 Italians in the first wave when they were detected in Rajasthan, and we took care of them, but we didn't even know anything about it. It actually bolstered the confidence of our entire team. And people pitched in hugely. The only time I really did feel, like you said, any time that you felt you were going to crack, is that we had 700 patients on oxygen and we were left with supplies for only 2 hours. But I must say, the government responded immediately. And that crisis was over within an hour. So that's why I'm very appreciative of all the people who were standing rigid on their posts. They were there. This was at 2 o'clock at night. You'll call the functionaries and say, look, I have this problem, and they would help. So I think it brought out the best in people, and that gave us courage to keep fighting, because this was an unending battle for at least 2 months when we had no beds available. Oxygen was always at an ebb. Then we had mucormycosis came in, the black fungus, the medicines to acquire them. So it was a challenge, but I must say that we have come through unscathed as far as the medical profession is concerned. We lost a few colleagues, which is very, very sad. But they are still standing there. The battle is not over. We still have our people in the front line. And I must say that having received the vaccine, both doses, has protected them. So they are in the middle of the battle. Right now, things are very quiet, but that's what worries us, that is there a problem that's going to happen from the festive season that's around the corner. And I think that, as said by other colleagues of mine, that we cannot let our guard down. We must keep reminding the public it's not over yet. Let's keep the masking another 2-3 months, and we hope we would have seen ourselves through this pandemic and then return to normal life after that. So till then, no hesitancy for vaccine. Get your second dose. The ones who have not gotten it, please go right away. It has been proven that the ones who got the vaccine have actually, even if they got the infection, they got a very mild one, did not need to be hospitalized, and there has been no reported deaths. So it is effective. It is achieving its purpose. The complication rate is almost zero. And there are few cases here and there which we are not even clear whether the vaccine was responsible for it or not. So I think there should be no doubt in it. And my appeal is that at this wonderful juncture where we have completed 100 crore vaccines, and we are all celebrating and feeling the joy of what India has achieved, and especially all being together, that I think we should not lose this momentum and try to see ourselves.
Absolutely. We can't afford to lose the momentum. And I want to ask you, Mr. Amitabh Kant, was there ever a time when you saw a little bit of panic within the government? You must have had hundreds of meetings with the Prime Minister. At any time, I mean, it's a little confession to make, and I know you're a career bureaucrat, and speaking your mind on television is definitely not something that you're, going to train for or ever been trained for. But just lower the guard a little bit, and share a moment where you actually felt that, what are we up against? Can we really do it?
So Navika, let me say that the second wave was really, really ferocious. It really shook us. And one thing I would say, that it made our resolve and our determination even stronger, because one, the Prime Minister constantly monitored it. He inspired all of us. And we were all determined in government to fight and win the battle. And I think it's important that to really say that everyone worked as a team. From the scientists to the doctors to the health workers, everyone has worked in collaborative partnership. And India not only has these vaccines, we'll now have a DNA vaccine, we'll have an mRNA vaccine. So we are really in the forefront of fighting this battle, not merely in India, where we should not let our guard down, but we are willing to take this battle on a longer term for the neighboring countries as well.
Sangeeta Reddy, before I let you all go, I just want to ask you one last question. And that question is, what did you tell yourself when there was this situation seemingly getting out of hand and you didn't know where to turn? What was your first thought, and how did you sort of connect all the missing pieces of the puzzle?
So Navika, it's a great question, and I think for years to come, administrators across the world will be asking ourselves these questions. And let me just say that, the culture and the philosophy that we've had and practiced for the last 38 years is that we depend on our team, we take the support of the government, but we are consistently inspired by the need of our patients. And so when we saw patients coming to us again and again, calling, approaching on the website, on the phone, in the ambulances, we just said we have to find a way. We converted beds. We opened up hotel rooms and used telemedicine. We enhanced home care. So it was just that resolve that we have to keep doing it for the sake of patients. And I think it's that philosophy that really held us through. But finally, and most importantly, I think that as a country, while we feel proud about this moment, and while we keep our guard up, and we encourage people to get vaccinated, we must learn the lessons of focus on healthcare and continuous focus on innovation and technology so that we use this opportunity to move up one step and enable access to the whole country to advanced healthcare. That is my dream, and I think it will happen for our country.
Fantastic. What can I say to this August panel on our screens tonight? Thank you so very much. A heartfelt thanks from 1 billion and 1.3 billion people, and salute each one of you, and our prayers, our thanks, and our country's blessings with all of you. Yes, it's no time to relax, it's no time to let our guards down, but 1 billion people vaccinated is something that gives us the faith, the confidence, as well as the hope that yes, together we can do it. Thank you very, very much to you, your institutions, and all the so many people behind you that have made this possible for India, and all our viewers. Everybody joins me in thanking each one of you.